Hi, everybody. Welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are coming to you from the lobby in the beautiful Las Vegas City Hall. Well, many of you who are regular viewers to Channel 2 or our social media platforms or follow me on Facebook, you probably know that I've been on medical leave on and off for the past few months. Well, I have been battling cancer. Now, going through this journey, I knew firsthand I'm certainly not the only person facing this devastating disease, but I'm also not the only one that faced all the questions and uncertainties that come along with fighting any disease, particularly cancer. So I chose to be very public about it in the hopes that I can help someone. So now that I'm about halfway through this journey, I thought it would be a good time to share with you what I've been through so far in the hopes that it can help you. Whether your battle is with cancer, another illness, the loss of a loved one, a breakup, whatever. A struggle is a struggle, and healing is healing. In September of 2023, I was diagnosed with a rare cancer for women, esophageal cancer, with the help of friends, photojournalist Eric Sorensen, producer Crystal Allen, and even some help from my husband, Jim Wise. Our home was converted into a temporary TV set so I could tell my story in the hopes of helping anyone else trudging through a difficult journey. By the way, I wouldn't be able to tell this story without the support of leadership, David Riggleman and Diana Paul with the Department of Communications.
Well, Nancy, we really appreciate you for being so willing to be so open and share your story. And, I guess the first question is, why was it so important for you to share this? Because for a lot of people, that can be very difficult. It's something that's very personal, and maybe they may not want everyone to know about it.
I got to thinking this cancer journey is very difficult. And there's a lot of questions when you enter into it. There's a lot of fear, trepidation. And I thought, if I can help one person not have to deal with questions or feel like they can come to me, whether they know me personally or not, or I can answer a question without them having to even contact me, that would make me feel like this journey is not only going to be successful for me, because it is, but it's going to help others as well. And that's real important to me. I've always been empathetic toward people in hard situations.
Let's rewind a little bit, because boy, what a journey it has been over the last couple of months. Let's go back to the beginning and how this all started and when you knew something's not right.
Yeah. Now, and this is one of the lessons that I want to portray to people is you've got to listen to your body. I knew something was wrong because I've never had stomach or indigestion issues, never, ever. And I had what I thought was like acid reflux, and I wanted to attribute it to stress, or maybe I'm getting older and I need to watch what I eat and how long before I go to bed I eat, that kind of thing. But I just knew something wasn't right. So my father had colon cancer, so my brothers and I have always had to get colonoscopies every 5 or 6 years. So I was due for that, and I thought, you know what? This is a good opportunity for me to maybe tell the doctor, let's do an upper GI while you're in there. So I had to be proactive there because I have no history of needing an upper GI, but I had to convince them, because I knew something was wrong, to do it. So it's not like I had to fight with them, but I had to kind of push to get that done. And sure enough, I went in, my husband and I are sitting there after the procedure, and the doctor moves the curtains aside and says, you have cancer.
The last thing I know you were expecting to hear.
And I heard nothing after that. So something else I would say to people is, if it's a friend, if it's a neighbor, if it's anything, if you're going in for any kind of testing where you even have the slightest suspicion that something could come back as a shock, you need someone there.
I think that's a good point to be made, because I know you and I love you, and I know that we can be very similar in this respect, that we just want to handle it on our own, and we won't reach out a lot of times for help. So I think it's important that you make that point, that there's someone you love and you trust and can be there for you, that they're there for you in those moments. That's really important.
Well, and then following that, here comes the advocacy again lesson, in that the doctor was going to put a stat on getting the biopsies back. He knew what he saw because he's been doing this for 20 years and he was an experienced doctor, but still you have to wait for the biopsies to come back, and then you have to get a CAT scan to see if it's spread anywhere else. And I was having a hard time getting appointments done expediently. And when it's you, this isn't routine. And I wanted it done yesterday. So again, I find myself coming up against some roadblocks. And until you get all those scans and tests, no one's going to do any treatment because they don't know what they're dealing with yet. So
all the more reason why you had to be a little more assertive in getting
Yeah.
that process going, right?
yeah, exactly. Everybody's different. For me, I just wanted it taken care of because I was still in the state of shock. So my husband had done some research, and even though I did not want to leave my home and my dogs and my husband and my friends, I had to get out of my comfort zone. And we realized that going to City of Hope in Phoenix, where they do nothing but cancer, which means they do everything immediately. You get blood drawn in the morning, you got the results an hour later. You need a CAT scan, you get it done 2 hours later, that kind of thing. So for me, even though I didn't want to leave my home, because I knew I was going to be literally moving out of the house for like 7 weeks, which I did, and lived in a hotel, if I wanted this done quickly, this is where I needed to be. So I guess what I want to tell people is do your research. And there are good doctors here, very good. I have a wonderful oncologist here. So, but I just was impatient and I wanted it done now. So that's what brought me to decide to move out of my house.
And you talk about what was happening during those 7 weeks.
I was able to live in a hotel affiliated with the hospital I was there for about 7 weeks. So I had radiation 5 days a week, chemo once a week for 6 weeks. And yeah, it was hard being away, but I will tell you that it certainly showed me the support and love. I'm so blessed. I have a friend who would call me every morning and pray with me. I had a coworker/friend who sent me flowers, always checked in with me. I had people who came to visit me, people I used to work with at Channel 8, who literally dropped what they were doing and came and spent the night in Phoenix to be with me. My brother, my sister-in-law, my good friend Kim Owens. I was hardly ever alone. Of course, when they left, it was like turned into a puddle, but boy, you really can see, how blessed and fortunate you are by your circle of support. And it also taught me another thing that's very important, and is that when people say, what can I do? Can I come see you? Don't cry.
Sorry.
Can I come see you? I want to come see you. Say yes, because they mean it.
Talk a little bit about kind of now, after having gone through that 7 weeks, how you're making that transition back.
I came home and I found out through another endoscopy that the tumor had shrunk significantly to about the size of a grain of rice. So my husband and I, being not doctors, thought, oh, this is going to be easy. They're going to do surgery. They'll just suck up that little grain of rice and everything will be fine. Well, we just found out recently that the surgery is a little more invasive than that, and it's going to be another mountain to climb. But we are choosing to be positive, and we are choosing to count the blessings instead of why me. There's going to be that, and I'm going to be honest with people. I had one big meltdown because it's the bucket that fills up, and you get the news about what your surgery is going to entail, and you're tired. And I broke out in a rash all over my body because I had a reaction to an antibiotic that I was given. It's like, okay, I can't. And I had a meltdown, and my husband was there and he said, it's okay, get it out. It's like let some steam off. And then I was fine. And then we were able to take a breath, get a good night's sleep, and get up the next day and talk about, doctor could have said, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't be your surgeon. If anyone can do it, I can and I can't. That didn't happen. I've got a rock for a husband. I've got God in my corner. I've got a circle of support from coworkers, people I work for, people I work with, my wonderful friends and family. Some people don't have that. But you know what? You are never alone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you don't feel like no one cares. I care, and I'm reachable on Facebook, and I just don't want anyone to ever feel alone. A lot of cancer institutions here and in other states, they have support groups. Somebody cares, and I do. So I'm young, healthy, and strong, and I'm going to get through this. And We'll do part 2 after that.
That's right, because there's another chapter.
There is. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't once again thank everyone for your outpouring of love, support, and prayers. And I certainly need to thank again my work family. You know, when you're a fairly small team, when one person is missing, everyone else has to step in and fill in that void. So thank you again to them. So I'll be getting surgery in about a month, and then I'll be right back here to tell you how well that went. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we've got an Open for Business segment about a woman who is really breaking stereotypes. She is a woman to watch. No pun intended.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. Really just all about the money.
Welcome back to City Beat from the beautiful lobby of the beautiful Las Vegas City Hall. Well, we have an Open for Business segment, and I have to tell you, I loved meeting this woman. Not only is she brilliant and breaking stereotypes all over the place, she's attracting attention from all over the world and has decided to set up business right here in our downtown. We want you to meet this woman who has really become someone to watch. You might not think that the adventurous type of woman who soars through the sky as a pilot and dives deep into the ocean as a scuba diver would find sitting behind a desk assembling watches to be interesting. But that's probably because you have not yet met Abington Mullen, CEO and founder of Abington Watch Company.
I had no intention of ever becoming a watchmaker, but it really happened back in 2006 when I was learning how to fly airplanes, and I wanted to gift myself a pilot's watch. At the time, nothing was ever made for women in the industry. So together with a group of other girlfriends who also flew airplanes, we just started talking and throwing, pen to paper and seeing what would we want if there were a woman's pilot watch.
The idea was launched in 2006 by Abington and her fellow pilot friends. The company was launched less than a year later, filling a need and demand that was sorely missing.
It's incredible how watch companies have this notion of let's just pink it and shrink it, and then it's a woman's watch. That is never going to work. It doesn't work. I love pink, but I love green, and I love blue and orange and every other color that is in existence. So I'm not always going to want something that just has stones on it and is just pink and small. That's just not my style. With women's watches, it seems like they're made incredibly delicate, incredibly inferior to some of the men's watches, and so we're trying to bring that superiority, that high quality, that indestructibility to a woman's watch, but still make it look good.
In the process of making watches for women who fly, she discovered these women have other careers and hobbies in common.
It turns out that women who fly airplanes also ride motorcycles, and they scuba dive, and they travel a ton. If it's not for business, it's for pleasure. They're out and about just doing things. And as much as we are all attached to our phones, having a good watch, especially one that does other things than just tell time, is really critical to how we work, how we have our day-to-day.
So she added to her collection to include other categories fit for other activities, such as diving.
With water resistance on a dive watch is so much more important than having it down to the second accurate. You really need to have good gaskets, a strong case, things that are just water resistant from the metals that are used or a silicone that's used, and also have the versatility of being able to wear it over a wetsuit or your wrist, depending on if it's a cold water dive or a warm water dive.
Her business has been done mainly through her website, abingtonco.com, but now has grown to a point where she's opening a brick and mortar shop here on the ground floor of the downtown Las Vegas residential high-rise Jewel. She loves living downtown, so this was a natural fit.
I love eating. I love the hospitality of this city. I love the nightlife, just it's such an exciting city. So to be in the middle of it is one of my favorite parts of living in Las Vegas. And downtown was just a little bit more, it's like the perfect balance between homey and still down in the middle of everything.
Abington Mullen has attracted the attention of the business world. She's been featured in many trade magazines and TV shows across the country, including a recent article in Las Vegas Weekly's business section. Not only because she's a woman shattering stereotypes, but because she's good.
Both are so incredibly male-dominated, but the thing that I love about being a woman in these two industries is that I'm often the only one in that conversation. And it's very exciting to break stereotypes every day and to be able to talk to men who are really into watches on a very technical level, and then also share stories about how I used to fly Airbuses and Boeings and some of the really big aircraft, ferrying them around the world.
Abington Co. is located at 353 East Bonneville Avenue, Suite 171, or you can check out her website at www.abingtonco.com. Abington also has a nonprofit called the Abington Foundation. They sponsor and encourage young women to pursue careers in predominantly male fields such as aviation, watchmaking, construction, engineering, etc. We certainly welcome her to downtown Las Vegas. Well, the city of Las Vegas recently opened up a rec center that is encouraging young people of all ages to maybe pursue a new hobby or career in a field they might not have considered. It's called the Becker Tech Center. Sure, this is where esports can be played here in the brand new Ernest and Betty Becker Family Rec Center. But this facility is not only about fun and games.
It's the first tech center for the city of Las Vegas, and we have a lot of really cool programming and workforce development options. So we have 3D printing going on in this facility, some robotics, some laser cutting. We also will be able to not just game in the esports world, but teach some workforce development, teaching the kids broadcasting and how to stream, content creation, digital media. We have a podcast studio as well.
So, that's a lot to take in. But bottom line is, this new recreation center and technology park opens up a whole new world to people of all ages in this community.
It's an older neighborhood for the city of Las Vegas, and we don't really have a recreation center in this immediate community. So it will provide a lot of our younger teens and even some of our adults an opportunity to dive into the technology field and hopefully create some workforce ideas for them.
And if that's not enough, residents who come here to play and learn can be part of an emerging sport in Nevada.
We're very excited because we are the first in the state of Nevada to have U.S. drone soccer. So we'll actually be teaching kids FAA regulations. They'll actually have a trust certificate. They'll get to build drones, code drones, and then fly and compete in a recreational environment.
Not only is the tech center new, the playground surrounding it has been dug up, fixed up, and brought up to high-tech standards.
We also have new play structures out there that also go along with the technology aspect of the building. We have Yelp structures, so they light up, there's music, they can scan a QR code and it'll link to their phones. So it's a very innovative way of creative play.
This facility was actually designed in 2019, but put on hold. Thank you, COVID-19. But the City of Las Vegas Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs couldn't be stopped once our city opened back up.
Our department just had a true commitment to being innovative and to start something new and recognizing the wave of the future. So we decided to bring technology and fuse it with traditional recreation.
It's time for a quick break, and when we return, we are going to share with you some wonderful recipes inspired by the Super Bowl. By the way, it was held here in Las Vegas not too long ago. Stay with us.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Congratulations to the Employee of the Month, Ana Feitia Lopez. Ana is a parks maintenance worker and is a new employee, having just joined the city in 2023. Recently, she was maintaining the grounds at the very popular Kellogg-Zaire Sports Complex when she came upon an unconscious man in the park's playground. Ana immediately called 911 and attempted to render aid to the man who was not breathing. She remained with the individual performing chest compressions until first responders arrived. Unfortunately, the man could not be revived, but Ana's actions showed that she was ready to help without a second thought. It was also a powerful example of her commitment to the residents we serve. For all Ana does to serve our community and for her efforts to keep our world-class recreation areas clean and inviting for residents and visitors, we tip our hats to Ana Feitia Lopez, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the lobby in the Las Vegas City Hall. Well, we're all still kind of reeling from Super Bowl 58, which of course was held right here in our beautiful city at Allegiant Stadium. Well, the Super Bowl inspired Crystal Allen and myself to go out and find some dishes that are known for the two cities represented in the Super Bowl, San Francisco and Kansas City. We start at Triple George Grill for some San Francisco fare. Since Triple George Grill opened its doors nearly 2 decades ago in downtown Las Vegas, it's been a hot spot for locals and tourists alike. And if you happen to be looking for some San Francisco-inspired recipes for your Super Bowl party, look no further than this cozy restaurant. It's where we headed for some suggestions on 49ers fare for your Super Bowl party or for any great meal, starting with Cioppino. It's a fish stew with roots you can trace directly to the old days at the San Francisco Fisherman's Wharf.
Actually, American Italians, when they came over, they created Cioppino, and Cioppino is basically chipping in. Everybody's coming to the table and chipping in their selection of seafood.
Chef Nicholas Beasley shows us how to make this easy fish stew that requires little measuring and many options when it comes to ingredients. He starts with the base.
We're adding bell peppers and onions to start with. Now we're going to throw in some shallots and garlic.
Once the vegetables are soft, a splash of white wine and clam broth is added. Again, it's a splash, no need to measure. Then comes the seafood, and in keeping with the tradition of throwing in a variety of what's available, Chef uses what's fresh.
The ingredients for the Cioppino, shrimp, salmon, octopus, scallops, mussels, and clams.
Shells and all for added flavor.
Now is the time to season. So we're going to season with a little black pepper, a little chili flake, and a little bit of salt.
The last touches are tomato sauce, which can be canned, jarred, or you can make your own, as the chef does, from whole stewed tomatoes. Then, a dash of fresh basil and parsley.
There you go.
You can serve with rice or pasta. The chef serves with sourdough bread, so you can sop up all that good sauce. You can find Cioppino on the Triple George menu as a customer favorite. Now, if you think a fish stew is a little too much work for your gathering, Chef Beasley suggests another idea featuring 2 other San Francisco favorites, clam chowder and sourdough bread. Specifically, chowder served in a sourdough bread bowl. You can purchase either or both, or make your own. Just heat the bowl in the oven, pour the chowder in, and garnish with bacon bits. By the way, Triple George is well known for both its chowder and sourdough, but they don't typically serve them together. The chef did this just for our recipe story. Not into cooking? Then skip hosting a party altogether and let the chef do the cooking here at the ever-popular Triple George Grill. They're here 7 days a week. Triple George Grill is located right off of Fremont Street across from the downtown Grand. Now for the Kansas City Fair. Well, Crystal Allen flagged down a food truck for this one.
Hey guys, everybody's getting ready for the big game. A staple in Kansas City, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, barbecue. Nobody does it better than my friend here, Frank, with Frankie D's.
Oh, dear.
Has a food truck right outside of, well, you find him outside of Walker's Furniture at MLK between Bonanza and Alta. He's here every Thursday, right?
Yes.
Serving it up. I mean, and look at these ribs. Oh my goodness. Hey, they call them fall off the bone. That's all right. They're so good, they're falling off the tongues, right? So, Frankie, let's talk a little bit about, you know, what.
One of those.
Oh, well, thank you, so I can try it myself. Oh, you know, because I'm all about taste tests. Oh, good enough. Oh, Frank, that's it right there. Fall off the bone.
Listen, you
So
don't even need to eat
good.
it, right?
You know it's really good
And we
when you
serve
taste the
sauce
meat.
on the side too.
See, that's why I say it's
Yeah.
good when you can enjoy the rib without the sauce. You know that's good meat. So what makes these ribs so tender, Frank?
Just the technique, low and slow. I can't tell you everything.
Okay.
But yeah, low and
That's the
slow,
secret.
that's one of the main things.
I love it.
Temperature low. When you sweat the meat, the smoke sticks to the meat more when you sweat.
Yes.
That's what the low part is.
And it's reminiscent of what they do in Kansas City, right?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the barbecue. Now, I know some of the barbecue sauce in Kansas City is that tomato-based barbecue, which you say you used to, right? So I want to talk a little bit about maybe if you had the top 3 ingredients that you have to make the barbecue this good. Or is that a secret that you can't share with
Most
everybody?
of the time, honestly, it's most of the technique on how you cook it.
It's how you cook it.
Yeah, all you
okay.
need is just a basic seasoning. I tell people, if you go to a store and you look at all the different seasonings, probably 85 to 90% of all the ingredients are the same. So you don't need a seasoning for this, a seasoning for that. Actually, we got a seasoning coming out. That's all. Put it on anything.
Oh,
Put
okay.
it on the ribs. We use it on the rib tips. Matter of fact, got rib tips right here.
There you go. Oh,
And these
wow,
will be
look at
cut out.
that.
Those are the whole rib tips.
Oh, love it. So really, it's more of the technique.
More of the technique.
Okay.
The seasoning, just a basic. Some, like brisket, some people, they only put salt and pepper.
How long do you want it to marinate, though?
I do dry rub.
Oh, dry rub.
Yeah, we do dry rub.
Okay, got it. And then how long is it slow and go?
So I'll do total cook time would be 3 hours. for the rib.
Okay, so you really spend some time with
Yeah, so
it.
every time, everything's on the timer. As soon as I flip them, I'm setting my timer and going that way.
I love
And I'm
it.
picking them up, looking, seeing if they're ready. Just everything's on the timer.
So then they're fall off the bone good, just like this. I'm eating while I'm talking to him because this is so good. Now, some of your sides that go along with it, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
You got to do
now
it right.
we got the baked beans.
They smell good, too.
We actually add our sauce in there as one of the secret ingredients.
Ooh, see, they got a
And
little
just have
secret.
bits in there. We don't put any meat, so we just do onions and peppers in there.
Okay, more of a vegetarian style.
And then we have the smoked mac and cheese.
Oh.
So we actually put it out in the smoker and smoke it.
So everything is smoke, slow and go.
Yes.
Ready for the taking. Yes, of course. Please, Frank,
We
cook
have
this
potato
up.
salad, coleslaw.
Listen, this is how a Kansas City Chiefs fan gets down with some barbecue, fall off the bone tender, some good sides, and a lot of love
There you
that's
go.
baked into it, right?
There it is.
I love it.
You got to enjoy what you do.
That's right. You do. And then it's not a job, right?
Yeah,
It's a
'cause
passion.
Some people are doing it just for money.
No, that's right. Hey, I tell you what, this is definitely worth trying out, and I know a lot of people are going to be enjoying a lot of this for the big game. Right here,
There's one
Frankie
for you.
D's. Oh, thank you. You can catch him here Thursdays right outside Walker's Furniture near MLK between Bonanza and Alta. Hey, we're ready to eat for the big
Yes.
game. Right, Frankie D?
Yes, man.
I was giving him a high five. There we go. This is cooking.
Well, that does it for another City Beat. Thank you so much for joining us from the lobby of Las Vegas City Hall, and we will see you next time around for the next City Beat. Find out what's going on all over the city of Las Vegas by subscribing to the City Beat e-newsletter. Simply scan this QR code to get a preview of each show twice a month.